And they were raised, and they're raised every 3 or 4 years, meaning that every manufacturer of automobiles, when they combine the whole fleet of cars and trucks they manufacture, the average miles per gallon's got to be X, and it goes up. And it's been going on for 25 years. And it's all been under the pretext of conservation and reducing dependence on foreign oil. And none of that's happened, has it? We still depend on foreign oil. Despite manufacturers being told they got to build crap cars, we still have the price of gasoline going up, don't we? Despite 25 years of fuel efficiency standards being mandated by the federal government onto manufacturers. The U.S. auto fleet now more efficient than ever, and yet the price of gas is still going up. And we still depend on foreign oil as much as ever. So what has it all been worth? Well, Mr. Limbaugh, New Castrati interrupting. At least you can say, Mr. Limbaugh, the pollution has been reduced. Oh, it has? Then how come we still have a global warming threat, Mr. New Castrati? If we've reduced emissions and we have made the air cleaner, then what's the threat? If every one of these cockeyed liberal ideas has worked, then why do we still have the same exact problem, only worse? In every respect. And the answer is because their ideas don't work. All they result in is crappier stuff. Underperforming stuff. Stuff that people really don't want. Stuff that manufacturers, if left to their own devices, would not make. That's where we end up. And despite all that, we still have higher gas prices. And despite all that, we still have global warming. And despite all of that, we still have a huge dependency on foreign oil. So where, I ask, is the magic of all these liberal solutions to these problems? And the answer is that every solution the liberals come up with for a problem makes that problem worse. Directly and also via unintended consequences, like the breakup of the black family, which nobody wanted to happen, but it did. Liberalism doesn't work, and it makes me mad. And that's bottom line. All right, George in Billings, Montana, you're up first. I appreciate your patience. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Rush. Hey, every joint on that Trans-Alaska pipeline was welded by a local out of Oklahoma. And they did a lot of that in the winter, summer, over a couple of years above the Arctic Circle. Some of it's below ground, some of it's above ground. And they did a fantastic job, obviously, because we're around 25 years that's been online. And I don't know of any joint failure on that. And apparently Obama's down in Oklahoma now trying to explain to these craftsmen how they're incapable of building a pipeline across the sandhills in Nebraska.
Well, that's an excellent point. You can't hear me. It's an excellent point. Obama is... Can you tell me, when was the last pipeline rupture that created all kinds of havoc that we've got to really be careful now to do this Keystone thing, because the pipeline ruptures, they happen all the time. When was the last one, George? George, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, George, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, anyway, earlier on in his presidency there, he went right to Canada and told them basically to stop mining the tar sands, which would be where the majority of this oil is coming from. And I don't believe he wants to have it happen anyway.
No, he doesn't. He stood in the way of it happening. He's in Oklahoma today, where it was happening despite him and taking credit for it. Oklahoma to Texas, it's happening. He couldn't stop it if he'd wanted to. So the next best thing is to go take credit for it. Because a poll from Gallup says 78% of the American people want the Keystone Pipeline. My hope is that 78% of the American people know he's opposed to it and is the reason for it. And I also hope that 78% of the American people understand that this dog and pony show going on today is a flat-out lie. But you raised an interesting point about the welders. If I'm not mistaken, welders are unionized people. And he's out there criticizing pipelines generically because they break and rupture, and oh no, that would leave that rotten, poisonous, toxic, deadly oil seeping into the ground and killing our snails. What's that say for union people that put together the pipe? What? Just jackass, folks. We're just dealing with a jackass.